Okay, boom.
Boom.
And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, all the way coming out of Pittsburgh. Our brother Keene. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Well, alaikum salam, Black God. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal, sir. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir.
The honor is mine, brother.
Thanks be to Allah. The first question that we have for you, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I first heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Muhammad. It was right before Savior's Day 2004. I was on a University of Pittsburgh campus, and it was a group. It was like a think tank where you got like you had the Pan-Africanists, you had the Nation of Gods and Earths, Rastafarians, you had the traditional Sunni Islams, conscious Christians, and then of course I met these brothers, suited and booted, and they were talking about the minister. And then they invited me out to the satellite or the webcast hookup in 2004. It was at a high school. The brother Jason, who I mentioned to you off the air, he was the one who fished me in, and he invited me out. That was 2004, Savior's Day.
Oh, praise to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, and what was it about the word that drew you in?
What drew me in, brother, I was, searching. I was just starting to like find myself. I was 19. Was I 19? I was 20. I was searching out. So like I said, I was going through think tanks. Was you trying to find yourself? Everybody get the schools of thought. They reading this authors. I'm trying to find myself. And I went through, I just say Islam come after everything else fails, brother. Of course, I was younger. I started in the church. That didn't hit me. Then from there, I went to the Sunni Islam from my cousin. They're Sunni. All right, cool. But it was like, it didn't connect with my spirit. You know how it was like, I don't want to disrespect nobody, but it was like watered down. Like it wasn't no spirit behind it. So that didn't hit me. I went to the Nation of Gods and Earths. I'm cool, but then they were still doing stuff they do. I'm like, that don't hit me. It didn't resonate. So then I heard the minister. I'm like, boom. It hit me, bro. Like it was just a feeling like one thing about us being in tune, being that we're from the creator, that universe is built on truth. So when truth hits you, it feels you because I'm saying truth is really our nature. So it hits you. I can't really explain it in words, but that's what happened. The truth hit and it like ignited a light, made me dig deeper. Everything he said, I've been reading. I'm like, well, everything I'm reading about from religion to, I was always into like, even in elementary school, my heroes were like Che Guevara and Malcolm X, Assata Shakur. So I'm into revolutionary. So I'm like, okay, he got the spiritual side and he's revolutionary. But this is the truth. Like it just hit me. So that's what got me.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Yes, sir. And shout out to Brother Jason for being diligent and bringing you in. Yes, sir. We need that. Our sister Naima says, "Assalamu alaikum, family. Walaikum salam, Naima." And thank you everyone for watching all around the world. I wanted to ask you, once you came in, how did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teachings?
I didn't come in right then and there, Brother Josh. I didn't come in. I was afraid. Because I was still, like I said, I was in my 20s, bro. I was still, chasing women, doing that, living a party life. I started coming out on a regular, fell back. In 05, I came to Savior's Day again. But fast forward, 2007, Brother Jason again, it was in Detroit. That's where he's from. He's from Detroit. So he invited me to go. That was my first live Savior's Day. And I just seen all the Muslims like, oh my God, this day. Look at these brothers look like God, bro. Like, like brother. And the sisters look like angels, brother. I'm like, oh my God. Like, how do I get, you know what I'm saying? But I stayed there. I came back. I wrote my letter. I didn't send it to the captain. Here's a story. From that point on, I start running around again, start drinking. I get into a car accident in 2010. Wrapped around the pole, the doctor was like, how did you, I don't know how you, I mean, I'm the doctor, but the paramedic was like, I don't know how you survived wrapped around this pole because the car was mangled. So I went to Savior's Day 2010. That's when I joined. Minister looked up and he was talking, and as he looked up in the balcony where I was sitting, he wasn't looking at me, of course, but I felt what he was saying, it was directed towards me. You know what I'm saying? And I was a little hungover. But I sobered right up. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it sobered me up. And I had told the brother at the time, he was like, brother, you gotta email them and tell them our testimony, because that's the same way you went from Mecca to Medina, the same way the prophet did. So you went from Mecca to Medina, that was your entry into the nation. And I've been rocking ever since.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Go ahead, Keene. Yes, sir. Okay, well, speaking of you drinking and beating that addiction, what advice would you give to those of us who may be battling addiction?
Get into the study guides and know that building the will, there's no way, but we can have the knowledge, but you really got to apply it and really know that Allah is in you, and put trust in the God and ask God to remove the desire from you, because we can't do it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remove yourself from those people who, because you know, environment is heavy. No matter your desire, you got strong desire, but you're in the wrong environment, you won't produce the seeds you want to produce. You can't keep hanging around the same people in the same environments, because it's going to trigger you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to first of all, know your triggers. Because even if you sober for a little, because I struggle, I would be sober, and I would go hang around old friends or old family members, and it would trigger me again. You know what I'm saying? So know your triggers. When you feel yourself getting a little anxious, rely to the God. That's the beauty of the brotherhood, because somebody in the ranks that you close to have beaten, overcame that addiction. So lean on your brotherhood. That's what it's for. That's why the God set it up. Because there's somebody, you're going through something that somebody else before you in the brotherhood has gone through. Lean on them. But most importantly, lean on the God. You know what I'm saying? And really, what helped me, bro, that some study guides, brother. You know what I'm saying? 5 through 8, build on the will.
Yes, sir.
Brother. But I always say that we go through stages in our growth, right? So you come in as a believer. That's the first step, saying you believe you heard the truth and group like, well, yeah, I do. That's the first step. Then you got to go from a believer into a follower. So once you start following, then your will builds up and your faith starts building up. And then eventually you go to being an apostle. An apostle, they perform miracles when Jesus was gone. And then you grow into a God, ultimately. Those are the steps we go through. You know what I'm saying? So did I answer the question, brother?
Oh, absolutely. You teach it, bro, Keene. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, everyone who's watching all around the world. Thank you very much. Okay. When you came in, what city did you come in, and who trained you?
I came in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
My first captain, I came in the transition. My first couple of months, my first captain was Brother Ronald out of DC. He's with the Dope Busters. He always bragged about, yeah, you know, Dr. Ling was my minister, and Sharif was my captain. He always bragged about that. That was my captain. And then a transition happened, and then Brother Charles was my captain from 2011 until 2017. So those are my two captains. Brother, get you both into the spectrum. Like Brother Charles is a businessman. He's very, very knowledgeable, very well read. He's got his own business to this day. And he allowed me, when I came in, he allowed me to travel. We would go to different events around the nation and travel. I met a lot of people and seeing we really have a nation. So he blessed me with that. Brother Ronald was a former Marine, and he militant side. And he was, you know what I mean? I had the best of both captains. Both very loving and patient and nurturing.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So my next question for you is, when did you go from knowing that the minister was more than a activist or maybe a powerful leader to someone who was in fact divinely guided?
It's funny, when I came in, what took me so long also, Brother Josh, let me go back to your prior question. What took me so long to come in too, bro, why it took so long, my father was super anti-Nation of Islam. So for a long time, it was just indoctrinated in me that Minister Farrakhan had something to do with Brother Malcolm being killed. So I had a reluctancy behind that. No matter, I'm like, just the truth. But nah, they killed my man. So when I start seeing who he was, might have been 2012. One thing Allah bless me, I'm noticing now, people always told me, I studied, like when I came to the nation, bro, I had just got laid off. So I was getting unemployment. and my sister was in high school. I would drop her off at school. I would go. There's a spot called the Co-op. It's like a holistic store. They got a reading area. I would go in there. I would study for like 2-3 hours. I would leave there and go to our library, and I would study until it's time to pick her back up. So I did that for like 6 months, bro. I was reading for like 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and I would hear what he's saying and the scripture. I'm like, man, brother. And then I heard him talk about the will and seeing how it's connected, and I read Ezekiel. I'm like, this man's divine. So I was never one of the ones who people would be like, I was blessed because I was never one of the ones who doubted that the Christ is still alive. I never had any reserves about that. I wanted to be like, well, how can I prove it? So I went to study, and how can I prove it? So I didn't have an issue with the Mr. being who he is. Like when he said he's Jesus, I'm like, he confirmed who I thought he was. So let me know that I wasn't crazy. So I feel like I was born to help him, because I was looking all along, bro, like, what am I going to do with my life? And sometimes I still feel like that at times, you know, because we can be our own worst critic, know what we deal with and our struggles, and we think everybody in the world sees how we see ourselves, which is not the case. They see the outward manifestation and stuff that we do. And they'll see the gifts in you that you might not see. But that's Allah, though. Allah pulling on you through your brothers and people around you, because you have nothing cut off. I didn't lose my car. I had a couple of late payments, but my car's still there. I never missed no meals. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still, my spirits are good. And we got a lawsuit, and you know what I'm saying? Allah's working it through us. And I got my health. People around me getting sick. They was mocking, oh, you're not going to take the vaccine. What's wrong with you? You crazy? Now they like, oh, I was healthy. Now I got masks in my chest and my back. Yo, man, that's my older brother telling me too. Like, man, you were right. You were right all along. Now everybody's like, yo, I appreciate you for standing your ground. Like, I commend you. I'm like, I'm following Farrakhan, man. Like, I don't follow what y'all follow. So that was my fear. Like, I faced it though. I faced it by going to the God and standing on. I know what the Messiah says is God saying it. So I stand on that. And if I'm scared, I know God saying that, and then you're going to get rewarded for obeying God. But Quran says hard trial necessary to establish the truth. So you got to go through it. That makes you even a stronger Muslim, makes you stronger in your walk. That gives you conviction, because you know God is real. You can't know God is real if you don't go through no test.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The bigger the test, the bigger the testimony. Is that right?
That's right.
Yes, sir. So that's the most recent fear.
Excellent. Go ahead, Ricky. And praise be to Allah for you standing, and all of us who stood with you, and had to face the same, trial in different ways, but the same one though. Yes, sir. I definitely understand.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone who's showing love all around the world. 1 second. Boom. My next question for you is the Justice or Else March. How did that personally impact you?
Brother, I was down there. I told you my situation. She's from DC, right? So we were down there visiting the family, and it's before that Saturday. That Friday night, if you remember, it was sunny. I seen this huge cloud from way across the way. It was super dark. And my mother-in-law was like, we better get back to the house. That cloud like it's coming with a storm. So driving into it, maybe like 10 minutes, boom, it was black. It was made from daylight to black. And it was raining. You couldn't see in front of you. And I later seen a picture of the minister up on his suite with the wheel over top.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, yo, that gotta be the wheel. I don't know, but you like, that's the wheel. It affected me. I didn't know what to expect that Saturday. I thought someone was gonna jump off, honestly. So I'm like, I remember being standing on post, and I'm like, something gonna go down today. I just thought it was a momentous affair. Like when you're in something, you don't understand the magnitude of it. Looking back there, I'm like, just the fact that he did this multiple times, called for 1 million, and more than 1 million showed up. First of all, you can't get 10 black people from different neighborhoods to get together and there'll be no violence, no arguments, no bickering, no nothing. He got millions of black men together, millions of black men. You can only do that if you're anointed with the Spirit of God. You can't do that. That's right. That just showed who he is. Like that was even more confirmation of who he is. And it's crazy because that's you talk about miracles. That's really a modern day miracle, if you will. That's a modern day miracle. So showed me that I'm in the right spot and I'm with the right man in the right hour.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And that was a very powerful event. And you spoke about me and you holding posts together. Can you let us know what that was like? You know me holding posts together.
We were at the August Wilson Center for the Bam Smith show. Minister came. That was 2011. I don't remember the exact month.
Mm-hmm.
You were on the stage. Minister was sitting there. You were up on stage. You was, you know what I'm saying, I was on the floor right below you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like, brother, that was. I remember him. Remember, the Jews were making threats all throughout Pittsburgh, and I didn't know how much juice the Jews had in Pittsburgh until the minister came. Man, and we thought it was gonna go down then, but we were ready. Yeah, bro, Josh, I seen you then, bro. I'm like, okay, I should see you up on the drill platform. I'm like, brother, get into it. The drilling, you know what I mean? But I can't drill like that, brother. I got 2 left feet, but he was getting to it. Then I seen you like, okay, look. I said, that's brother right there. You know what I mean, bro? So, brother, as always, bro, it's an honor to serve a post with brothers. You know what I'm saying? I know you come from a long lineage of soldiers, brother. So even be close to you like that as your brother, it was an honor, soldier. You know what I'm saying? They say,
mine, sir. The honor is mine.
You know what I'm saying? So they recognize you, say, game recognize game. Well, soldiers recognize soldiers, right?
Yes, sir. Okay. And we have a few more questions for you, but you also spoke about, for those who are watching, primarily my siblings too, Brother Keene said a key phrase to me before we went live, or brought up unlocked a core memory that I haven't heard in 20 years. Yes, sir. Could you let us know about, where someone recognized me from?
Brother Josh used to go to a school called Roots in D.C. And she asked me and said, ask him, does he should go to Roots? I remember him. He looks familiar. And sure enough, brother went to Roots in D.C.
I have not heard anybody mention that outside of my mother and my siblings. Since I went to Roots. Nobody even mentions that. People go back to MBY, but nobody goes to like the Roots activity. Yes, sir.
I went back to the Roots.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. The next question I have for you is, what advice would you give to future fathers?
First and foremost, settle down to a good choice. Be what you want your child to be. Don't preach to your child, because the best sermon is a good example. Strive to have stuff in order as far as financially, because children always, not always, but certain things come up. You want to have a cushion for them, so you don't gotta be scrounging wild. I can't do that, because there's nothing worse than being a father and your child wants something and you can't give it to them because you're struggling.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We want our children to have a better childhood than we had. If not, at least if we had a good one, we want our child to have one like ours, but we want them to have better.
That's right.
So when you can't produce that as a father, it can cause depression. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to produce for your child as the nature of a man. You want to produce, and you got to produce not just physically, but you also want to have. They said the most honorable Muhammad was the father of a nation, but he's also known for the wisdom of his counsel. And we know from the Messiah in our midst, he's always giving great counsel. So you can't give great counsel if you don't got no education, if you're not smart. You got to be studied to be a father, right? So if we study the fruit code that we given, that's the mark of a great father right there. To sum it up without going too long, right down.
Beautiful, excellent. Okay, go ahead, Keene. And Keene, are you in the ministry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. I can tell you teaching, yes, sir. And brother Adio Nasur says, love your energy and spirit, top soldier. Assalamu alaikum salam, sir. And his name is Roots, OMG. Exactly, right? Okay, perfect. What has been your greatest joy in life, brother Keene?
My greatest joy in life, being a father, helping the minister, like getting gas, or mainly getting gas and seeing people's eyes come open, knowing that Allah would even allow me, knowing what you come through and knowing how we see ourselves and knowing that Allah handpicked me to do the work. Recognizing that, and I said, being a father and being able to be not the best example, but an example to the young children, the younger males, and they tell you after years, like, bro, you were so, you helped me out so much. And they come back and tell you, you've been a great help. You gave me this word, it's not, and it saved my life. Like, I said that. What? Sure, it was you, Brother King. So getting that feedback, and all I say is what the minister give me to say. Ain't none that I'm saying. That's it. That's outside of being a father, seeing people's eyes open to these teachings and having people come up to me and tell me something that I said to them saved their life. And whatever I said that was good, I got it from my teacher. Because I have nothing to say outside of him. They'd be a fool, honestly.
Beautiful.
Don't get it twisted. Now, your brother ain't all the way civilized, but I still get a little, I mean.
Yes, I mean, we all out here. Yes, we do same thing. Yes, sir. Trust me, we understand. Okay, but King, we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. If you all would like to, thank you for every like, share, and subscription. If you all like to make a donation, please cash out the People's Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everyone, our YouTube family as well. Shout out to Brother Kente. Shout out to Brother Musa, Weedham Boy, the auntie, everybody who shows love on YouTube as well. 1 second. There we go.
Camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon. If you would like to donate.
Thank you very much. We have one more sponsor, Sister Sherry Muhammad with Asiatic Minds. If you have children and you would like them to go to school virtually, please enroll them at AsiaticMinds.com. She teaches and they teach STEM to young kings and queens all across the country. Please enroll your child in AsiaticMinds.com, a phenomenal institution. Thank you very much, Sister Sherry, and thank you very much to the staff and faculty of Asiatic Minds. 1 second. All right, boom, we're right back. Thank you very much. My next question for you, sir, is what advice would you give to people about holding on to faith?
By holding on to faith. Would it take to hold on to faith or just holding on to faith?
Yes, sir. What it takes to hold on to faith, like people who are bad, outside right now, a lot of people are battling with hope, but primarily faith as well.
First of all, the hold on to faith, you gotta first have faith. So you gotta make sure your faith is planted in something stable. So if you don't have it even planted, you can't even hold on to it.
Yes, man. Yes,
so
sir.
First, make sure, like I heard Brother Nori always say, if you don't study, you won't stay, especially if we in the ranks. So you got to make sure you got something near to pull from. You can't pull from something that's not there. So knowing what you whatever, if you say you're Christian and you don't believe in quote unquote the Quran or whatever, you got to go into what you say you believe in. Go into it. Don't just go into it, but plumb the depth of it and get it and try to get in contact with the spirit of God, because that's God's word, so it's in there. And you got to keep on feeding on it. Like if you don't feed, you're gonna starve. So you got to make sure you feed on it, and you got to have enough in there so that when times do go hard, you got to pull on. You got to have enough to go back in the reserve bank to pull from. So if you store it, you read and you got enough, you fill up, eat enough, you can store some. How we're taught to save food for the day of want. If you store it, you can store your knowledge the same way that you go back, learn how to get you a favorite passage. You might have surah so-and-so, verse so-and-so, book in the Bible, chapter this book, verse so-and-so. And the more you study, you'll start finding passages that you can go into to draw from. They always get you back on your right path because you know how to talk to you.
That's
you
right.
know what motivates you. So you'll find you a scripture to draw from because you know you. So that's, did I answer the question?
Oh, absolutely, Brother King. You absolutely answered the question. All right. Brother King, what is your favorite album of all time?
Woo! My favorite group or solo?
Both.
My favorite solo album, Me Against the World, Tupac.
Okay. Yes, sir. That's a great
one. My favorite group album, hey, dang, it's gonna be a toss-up between Aquemini,
okay,
and Bone Thugs and Harmony, Eternal 1999, brother.
Okay, I mean all three of them. You trifecta together. Sir, you can't go wrong with that. Yeah, that's great. And from Pittsburgh, you was up on that. I don't know what. I guess I don't know what kind of music I assume you listen to in Pittsburgh, but yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what you told me to listen to up here, brother.
Because I don't know people from Pittsburgh, so I don't know what they listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a minute, I Wiz Khalifa or something. Like I don't know. I just assume.
No, brother. Shout out to Wiz, but no sir. No sir, brother.
Yes,
brother,
sir.
Yeah, brother. Born in the 90s, bro. I still play. I haven't progressed into like the new era. Like I tried, and my nephews in there, brother, but it gets no play with me. I tried. It makes my head hurt. I'm stuck. The newest I go, bro, is Nipsey Hussle, man. That's my man.
Okay, yes, sir.
I can't get too much. I like J. Cole and them too, but beyond that, like Lil Baby and them, bro, no, sir.
You can't go. You can't go. Okay.
No, sir.
All right. So, will you ever write a book about your personal life, Brother King?
I don't know. My thing is, I'd be like, who want to read a book about me? So I would be like, probably not. That's just my thoughts about it. I'm like, nobody want to hear what I'm saying. So no, probably not. I've been asked that before. But if I write a book, it wouldn't be a book about my personal life.
Okay.
It might be a book about my walk in the nation or, something dealing with the teachings. It wouldn't be about my personal life. I feel like nobody want to hear nothing I got to say about me.
You'd be surprised, Brother King. You'd be surprised.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My last question for you is, our last question, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
A person that had one life but touched many. I want to be remembered like them soldiers in Islam, man. Like who that we talk about. Yusuf Shahs and your mother and father.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Captain Rahman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Abdul Allah. These are the names that our pioneers that really the great ones, man. I want to remember with them. Even though the older ones in the past who were Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they were great, but they didn't have to face the enemy that we face. And the Muhammad that they walk with, the two Muhammads that they walk with, are facing Satan. So I want to be remembered like them soldiers.
Yes, sir.
Because I heard a brother say one time, brother, in fact, it was Brother Rodney out of Philly. He says, they had the Quran, but our Quran's the only one that got the devil in it. So
yes, sir.
I want to be remembered for that. A person who had one life but touched many. And remember like them soldiers who came before us. Not ancient soldiers, but the soldiers right modern time from 1931 prior.
What a legacy that is. Go ahead, Brother King. Well, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for your sacrifices and the sacrifices of your family. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. Brother King, we've got to ask you about martial arts. What is it that fascinates you and got you interested in martial arts?
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was 9 years old when I first started, but I felt like drawn to it. And it was always bigger for me. Like I would get books and I would read philosophy books. Like martial arts have always been big. I always been to the philosophy, the training. I was always into it. Like I feel like that's part of my purpose. So it always was drawn to me. Like even now, I feel like that's part of the ministry Allah allows me to touch people and bring them into the teachings through martial arts.
That's a powerful tool. What style of martial arts do you use?
I started when I was younger. I started with Shotokan, but now it's the art called Yetaru. Okay. It's founded by two brothers who have now they have 40 years experience between individually. It's Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, mixed. It's Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, and it's Go-Jiru.
Okay.
All mixed in. So that's what we study now. And I have a 4th degree in that system. So, yes, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. But Keene said put some respect on his black belt. Yes, sir.
No, I didn't say that, brother. I'm just your brother. I didn't say that, brother. I didn't say that. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir, brother.
Yes, sir. And where can people? Do you have like a website or something where you want people to like sign up to go to your school?
I don't have a website, no, sir. And the website I think is yetteru.org.
But if people are in the Pittsburgh area,
I don't know the actual website.
Can they message you or DM you if the people in
Pittsburgh? Yes, sir.
Okay.
The school is actually called Sankofa Village Academy, Sankofa Village Martial Arts Academy.
Powerful, yes, sir.
And you make sure you tell your father that my son, his middle name is after your father, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely wrote it down to let him know for sure.
Yes, sir. Please, brother.
Thank you.
I appreciate you and your family's sacrifices, man. Really, truthfully, like y'all are really a founding family after the rebuilding of the nation, man. So I thank y'all for y'all sacrifices. And may Allah continue to bless y'all, your brother, your sisters, and your dad. And may Allah be pleased with your mom, brother. I didn't know her personally, but just hearing people talk about her and Sister Minerva and them talking about your mom, I know her in spirit, I feel. So prayers to you, to your family for your sacrifices, man. And may Allah continue to bless all of you.
Same to you, Brother Keene. And inshallah, we look forward to seeing you soon in person.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. May Allah continue to bless you. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir. And thank you all for watching.
Salam.